Here we go, guys. Fourth best of 7 of the night. Score 0-0 between the man from Germany, Conqueror, and our man from the Netherlands, the Boanaan, as we have scorpions on both sides.
Scorpion versus Scorpion. Different additional attacks. Blink Hunters against the Assault Bots. I forget the name of these little guys.
Which one? Sorry?
The ones underneath. The
Missile bot.
ones that don't. The Missile Bot, yeah. The Assault Bot's the tier 3 one, isn't it? Yeah.
Get your measles here.
Kind of a fun set attack in general because we have Mortar Destroyer versus King Crab Destroyer, which is kind of cool. We actually have Predators and Valkyries. So we have tier 3 answers to the Falcons as well. It'd be interesting if we get that far along, as it is going to be Conqueror attack immediately, Destroyer Mortar on the way, and it is going to be Boanaan matching that with King Crab Mortar.
I like it a tiny bit more for Conqueror, right? And I also feel like he's got a very good read on these games. And what I mentioned before is that he's an incredibly, I wouldn't say just passive player, because he's absolutely willing to attack if he feels like he needs to. But he doesn't panic if he's forced to defend for a while. And if I'm looking at these setups, yeah, I think a defensive playstyle is an excellent choice for him here. Just get a couple mortars out, and if Boanaan wants to send it, and let him send it.
He really got very aggressive with these Scorpions, right? Like, he stuck on those on that fight for a long time. I didn't think he was going to stand there for so long, to be honest, but really went for it. The Scorpion's getting caught a little bit to the top side now, and we will expand as Conqueror, so Boanaan going to just spam the units in a few moments and just try and send it. No, he's actually going to expand himself. So we're going to see 3 bases with tech now coming online. What are you thinking?
I'm surprised that Boanaan is expanding now because it's a bit late, right? He could have done it earlier if he wanted to. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's indecisive. Perhaps some nerves as well. I don't know. Obviously, $150 on the line for the winner of this series. But at this point, I just really don't see this going Boanaan's way at all. I think the mortar count is going to be pretty damn high. Okay, he fires up tier 3 immediately. Now, I do like that. We're going to see some heavy ballista already for the first time today.
This is why I feel like Conqueror should be like, oh, you're attacking? You're putting your money there? Let me just walk across the map. Like, let's start getting these mortars further forward. So we'll see if that's something he wants to do. Although now he's going to have a Scorpion counterattack around the left side as well. So Boanaan, I like it, making moves to get himself to that tier 3 safely. I think he's going to get there somewhat alive. He's going to build a few units now. Going to have to get a defense going as we are going to come in Scorpions on the bottom. Units coming in from the top. He's got the big counterattack, but units in position at home as well. Maybe Conqueror is actually just going to hit at the perfect timing.
Yep, this seems incredibly well played by our German player. 1 mortar is enough to really make this an impossible fight for Boanaan. 1 mortar at home keeps him perfectly safe against all these units. And actually, this is an incredibly well-timed attack. Holy smokes, so well done. Left just enough at home, left enough to the other side of the map. Perfect play. And he's actually tacking up to air now, by the way.
Gonna have only the mammoth on the initial air attack, and then gonna go into potentially, air attack beyond that again. As the heavy ballistas, pretty powerful there, but I just don't believe there's ever enough to truly push into this position.
Tiny Scorpion counterattack as well coming out of Conqueror. Already got 5 workers, make it 6 or even 7. I think Boanaan feels that he has to send it here. Maybe wondering if there is a tiny opening to be found in the natural of Conqueror, but I don't think that's the case. It's always so easy to defend your natural here, especially with mortars. And these mammoths are actually kind of useful to just tank some shots, right?
Yeah, very tanky units, and maybe actually quite good against the ballistas as well. Oh my goodness, they're going to run forward, and they are going to be the answer to the ballistas, right? Like, getting through, they can trade pretty evenly, which is fine considering the fact that heavy ballistas will cost more. So I'm okay with that trade, and a good little attempt with the heavy ballistas, but yeah, even better, just answer from Conqueror and knew exactly what you needed to switch into to be safe there. That's it done.
Very impressive game by Conqueror. I actually think he played this so well. Because he did not have a lot of units, and sometimes it's hard to figure out how many mortars do I need at home to be safe. Can I attack right now? Should I even attack? Or can I just sit back? But I actually really like the way that he played that. Boanaan tried, but there really was no opening to be found. Solid first game, very enjoyable. Some tier 3 action, Rotti, and some really good calls coming out of our German player.
Now that was a very well strategized game. Just kind of throughout, just knew what sort of moves he wanted to make, what sort of directions he wanted to take things in, and yeah, Boanaan, like a little bit uncertain, right? You mentioned kind of taking the 3rd base at maybe a bit of a weird time as well. Those sort of things kind of perhaps could be a little bit cleaner going into a game number 2. So things to look at.
And Boanaan has found a lot of success with sending it fully on 2 bases, but that could just be against people that go 3 base before tech. Obviously, we had 2 base tech here coming out of both parties. That could have something to do with it. Fun first game. curious to see if Boanaan is going to switch it up a little bit. Because when I just looked at the decks, I did favor Conqueror's deck a little bit. It just kind of felt that Boanaan was always going to find himself in some tricky positions. Could have maybe gone a different route, more bases, more defensive play, bleeding out less units, I don't know. But it felt unit for unit, I just liked it a tiny bit better for Conqueror.
Let's see if we swap anything out then as we get into game number 2 of our 4th best 7 a day. Yeah, it looks as though we have got Stingers and Falcons on the side of Boanaan in the skies, so maybe we could go that direction. As, yeah, otherwise looking pretty similar from Conqueror, who's, I think, got a pretty well thought out deck, to be honest, so...
Did Boanaan have Destroyers last game too?
I got my tail on you.
I think so, because it was King Crab Destroyer against Mortar Destroyer, yeah.
Boanaan once more the first to send his Scorpions to the other side of the map. Has to be careful that he doesn't bleed out too many. Conqueror taking the 1-0 lead in this best of 7. As we haven't gone to battle here for a little bit. Boanaan apparently likes what he sees. Says, oh, can't chase too far though, has to be careful.
Yeah, kind of interesting, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like there's anything to gain in a mirrored in-composition fight on your opponent's side of the map, so...
Also, by the way, worth mentioning that it's snipers now coming out of Boanaan. Well, last game, obviously, you had the heavy ballista.
Ready to smash.
Yeah, so that is a change. And that obviously is maybe just perhaps against the... Well, absolutely against the mortars would be a big deal, so... Heavy ballistas kind of held their own, but... Yeah, snipers maybe could just be good against everything that kind of Conqueror can get into. The issue is just getting there, because, you know, even if you're building snipers, they're still not going to be out in time to save you from what happened last time, right?
Mm-hmm. Scorpions battling over here in the center. We have the money at this point to go up to 3 bases if we want to. Conqueror does it immediately. Boanaan's going to do it a couple of seconds later, but he decides to do it as well. Setting up a tiny Scorpion run by. It's just 3 of them. But obviously Conqueror right now has no units to deal with it. He's going to send them over. I think Boanaan should be able to grab at least 2 workers here. Maybe even 3 if he gets lucky. Oh, nice movement there. Should get 3.
Mm-hmm. Just going to be seeing the... A little bit of harass working out, and now the Scorpions in the center starting to mass up. Immediately into the air, by the way. Mammoth's now on the way from Conqueror, so he's just going to go for another tech as Boanaan goes for the snipers. So Conqueror really believes in the Mammoth's ability to kind of just answer his opponent's continued tech in the game. Very interesting.
I hope he actually checked, though, that it's sniper this time around, because I feel like snipers should be good against Mammoths as well, but we do have... Our first mortar is making its way to the battlefield. That's going to slow the Scorpion battles down a tiny bit. Already a few missile bots coming out of Boanaan. That is odd, no? I mean, sure, you have a little bit of range damage. I guess it's nice, but is it necessary?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like, it can be nice to have the range damage behind the melee units, but like you say, is it necessary?
Oh.
Absolutely not. They're kind of slow. I'm not sure they'll do much, as we actually get a catch on the bottom side with a King Crab in there as well. Just trying to dive past the units, and going to be pretty committed with everything here, so hoping to find something. I'm hoping that King Crab gets some workers, perhaps. Going to turn around on the Scorpions instead. Still a pretty good fight. King Crab gets some action, Rotti.
Yeah, I would have loved to see indeed that King Crab just commit on the workers, because then you should be able to get 4 or 6 rather quickly. In the end, it is Conqueror who defends successfully, and now can maybe fire up tier 3 air. He's got double tier 3, huh? He's got Cat Boss, and he's got, is that...
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yeah. Valkyrie.
Yeah. Valkyrie's super good in anti-air versus against other air units, and it's pretty decent on the ground. They actually have to nerf it on the ground units because it's pretty good. The snipers are kind of in the front already, so obviously they want to get rid of those mortars. And just don't want to make sure they're going to be safe in doing so. And this is the kind of awkward part, is you need those snipers to kind of sit there and deal damage from afar, and they are going to start doing it. Man, they don't do a lot to the Mammoth, but
Mammoths are damn tanky. Holy smokes.
I mean, you got some destroyers that can get rid of the Mammoths, right? If it gets to that point, we just need to get the destroyers in range easily.
Feels like we're watching some late game TVC over here. Pew, pew, pew.
I wouldn't mind if he just target fired the mortars, though. I feel like he's just letting the snipers do what they want, but if you target fire the mortars, they're going to melt.
But maybe he's just not worried about the mortars anymore, because he already has an answer for it, and he is worried about other units, so this may have actually been the correct choice.
Yeah, we're actually going to dive forwards here. We're going to get a couple of these mortars before they get to fire. The big thing is just getting rid of the mortars. Now they're gone. We've got destroyers here as well. They should be able to absolutely destroy the Mammoths. We saw that in a previous game. As man, there's so many snipers, but the tier 3 air tech from Conqueror is on the way, Rotti. So yeah, you're going to lose this fight right now, perhaps lose your base. Can your tech into... I have to imagine we just spam Cat Burst here. Is that going to be good enough?
Cat Burst is actually pretty sick, but he doesn't have that much power. He can build 3 right now. I think they're 250 a piece. We do have a bunch of run-bys. Great run-bys over here by Conqueror, man. These guys are battling. I mean, Boanaan wins the ground fire, but now we're going to have missile bots against I mean, do think that 3 cat bosses, that should be something that I think Boanaan can deal with. He's got 140 something supply at the moment.
Ooh,
The entire
snipers.
mineral line has been wiped out, by the way, so very little income at the moment for Boanaan.
Oh my god, Kappas is so good right now. Look at them go. Yeah, we're just going to get rid of all of these workers, which is huge. I think the missile bots will be okay, but we've gotten rid of so many attack units. Maybe there's something else we can build from here. Conqueror's not decided what he wants to build next. 4 Kappas. Going to go to the upper right. Maybe just go finish off the natural, because if you finish off the natural, then your 2 bases each and your opponent still build rebuilding workers. So you've got an economic lead.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 base against 2 base, and you're the 2 base player with tier 3 air. Missile bots, can they stim forward right now and finally get one? It seems like they've already stimmed a few too many times. They used overclock rather. That's actually going to make it hard for them to really get into position. These cat bosses are single-handedly turning this game around. Supplies are mega close right now. One more cat boss flying through the middle. There's a few more workers are going to get picked off, man. I think that Scorpion drive-by in the natural has really turned this game on its head. It was just 4 Scorpions that killed all 16 workers, and Boanaan will tap out. Man, what a sick win by Conqueror. Very, very well done.
Yeah, that was sick. What a great game where you just saw the entire depth of the deck being used from Conqueror, just going through all the way, because obviously he starts out with the mortar destroyer, he switches into the mammoth, he actually goes tier 3 air tech. Actually fantastic game, and just in the end Boanaan just didn't have a way to get like good anti-air out against the cat boss. Like missile bots just don't really do well enough, you know.
Now, cat bosses are surprisingly quick, because normally when we see big flying ships in an RTS, you always kind of think that they're slow and maybe they don't have that much micro potential. But I've noticed this. Today was actually the first day that I started building a bunch of cat bosses, other than the weekend that we had in LA back then. And I was like, man, they're quick, and it feels like you have some micro potential, because obviously a quick flying unit, you can always dance on the edge, go over cliffs, make it hard for tier 1 ground to catch up. That was incredibly well done. Great comeback by Conqueror. And Boanaan is going to be kicking himself for it. I think at one point, probably had enough to maybe fire up his anti-air as well, but I guess he didn't have airships, right? So did he have any anti-air in tier 2?
He not tier 2, he had Valkyries on tier 3, I think is the problem, so...
Yeah, going tier 3 and tier 3
there's no way he gets there. Yeah, there's no way.
Cat boss, baby. A 2-0 lead for Conqueror, and arguably what was the best game of the day so far. Great comeback with tier 3 air there. Let's see, have we switched it up once more, Rotti?
No, this looks like as though we're just going to sit with what we had before. I really would have liked, after that last game, Boanaan to perhaps just change out maybe like the Falcon? Because I feel... maybe the Falcons would be okay in some situations. I just thinking what he could do to kind of give himself an answer in case that situation comes around again, right? Because getting to like the first level of Starforge is doable, but getting 2 levels up for your proper anti-air is not really doable at all. So, yeah, you've got to give up something to be able to then cover for that. But then obviously maybe he doesn't want to give up the threat of the Sting or the threat of the Falcons, because they are good threats in themselves. That's the tough part of this game, man. There's just so many units you want to use, and you only get 8 spots.
Once more, tier 2 tech over here for Conqueror. To Foundry, we've got Destroyers and Mortars. Boanaan gonna do the same thing with King Crab and Destroyers. And I kind of assume we're just gonna rush out tier 3 again rather quickly. Because tier 2 forever, Boanaan is not going to win this.
Nope. I think he knows what he wants to do. I think he knows his plan. I gotta say, I'm just impressed with the confidence in the tech from Conqueror, because to kind of go from, the initial Foundry tech and then to go straight into Starforge so quickly like he did, and have the confidence he'd be able to get to tier 3 Starforge in the long term, it was really, really sick. Really was just so well planned out from the early game that he could do that. As Scorpion fights are a little bit weird to just watch, and I'm surprised these guys sit and commit to the Scorpion fights so much. That was a lot of losses for Conqueror.
Yep, but he does sneak 4 Scorpions into the natural of Boanaan once more, and that's -4 workers at the bare minimum. Boanaan might think there is something to be gained over here in the center, but it's gonna still take like 30 seconds before those workers spawn. So you can't really get on top of those. In the end, when it's all done and dusted, it's relatively even. I'd love to see, I think, very quick tier 3 by Boanaan. That's exactly what he does immediately. Knows about the mortars, can't stay in range of the circle, but obviously needs to still be dancing right in the center, because if he makes it easy for Conqueror to walk across the middle with the mortars, he's in all sorts of trouble.
As Scorp's just going to come running through, and it's going to try and do some damage again. Just trying to buy time, right? Force mortars to be elsewhere. Don't give them the chance to move through the center of the map. Give yourself time to get to the snipers. Conqueror's taking a very similar route where he believes he can just get up to the air units and the mammoths as well. I do wonder if, again, just maybe Boanaan, his issue is not speeding up the game, and once he had snipers, if he just immediately started to target those mortars, he could have pushed on the map more quickly, and that would have stopped Conqueror ever getting to tier 3 air tech, right? So maybe that's something he can do differently this time around, just be more urgent with what the snipers target so he can push with the rest of the army.
Yep, and since Boanaan has not swapped out the Falcons for airships, going tier 3 ground into tier 2 air will not really do that much for you, and tier 3 air is way too far away, so it could really turn into a somewhat similar game again. Boanaan is not fighting now with all of his Scorpions. He's very distracted by that little run-by. Conqueror has been relentless with these run-bys, and Boanaan is having a hard time keeping up.
Yep, he absolutely is. The Scorpions are out. It's going to be Mammoths and a few more mortars coming into play. The tier 3 air tech on the way. Now Boanaan tries to go into air tech of his own, but man, he is an absolute journey away from truly getting into something that's going to help him against the Kappas, etc. So he's got to go. He's got to start fighting. He does have the destroyers here, getting rid of some of the mammoths. That's exactly what you want to do. And then let the snipers just fully focus on the mortars, knock those mortars down quickly, and just go across the map. Try and stop the guy getting to tier 3 air. I almost wish he hadn't built air tech of his own, and he just went all out and trying to deny him from kind of, getting to tier 3 air. This fight's not gone well enough, though, has it? There's a few mortars left in the center, but we've got barely anything left on the side of Boanaan. If he starts to push now, he's going to be up against Kappa's production. I think he's just in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, this would actually look perfectly fine if you could now build airships. If he would have swapped out Falcons for airships, I mean, he said he's going to try to go double tier 3. I feel like this is incredibly rare that you see this. 5 minutes in, we already have tier 3 ground coming out of Boanaan, and he's now got tier 3 air on the way as well. Snipers are absolutely doing a thing. Maybe try to gun down the base, right? With the destroyers, they deal so much damage to the base. But cat busters are here already. And these are going to be some very, very long 30-40 seconds for Boanaan.
Yeah, it's so rough. If Valkyries come out, they will destroy Kappas. Like, this is not even going to be funny how quickly the Kappas die. So maybe even to the point where you can justify giving up a base, because the Kappas tech is going to get so heavily counted in the near future that maybe losing this third, you can then counterattack and kill off your opponent's third. That might just be the play right now. As, yeah, he's just going to keep sending units across the map to try and keep some of the Cat Busters back. The Valkyries are about 15 seconds from spawning. We go Predator the Conqueror. He's going to get every tech. Every player is going to have every tech available to them. Yeah, I mean, he has to go for the Predators because I think he needs something to fight the Valkyries with. I was going to go for a few Snipers, Scorpions as well. Boanaan builds what could be his final army in this game. He needs to put work in with this as he starts moving, but the Cat Busters are actually in the bottom right corner. I actually don't think there's anything to defend here for Conqueror in the center.
The drive-by. Nope, this is going to be a very difficult fight in the center. As now, okay, we have a couple of Blink Hunters. That is good. That's going to keep some of these Valkyries at bay. Man, it's such a bizarre game. That Cat Bus drive-by, by the way, once more Boanaan, his economy will be hurting for a while. And they don't have to stop in the natural. They can just go straight for the main. There's a good chance that Boanaan kills his center base, but he's going to lose so many workers. When does Boanaan realize? I don't see a reaction yet. He's now going to build two of them. Cat Bus needs to keep going, right? We're battling. I guess we're distracted by this battle in the center.
Yeah, a couple new Kappas going to try and show up there. Those Valkyries will start to clean up the Kappas. It's just messy. The guys have so much to watch. So many different things going on. It is currently Boanaan who is winning out on the third base of his opponent, although he will not have much economy left. He will still have some. The Valkyries are going to clean up those Kappas. They can then come across the map to help. He's still got Snipers, still got Scorpions. On his way to killing his opponent's third, he backs it up for a second, but I think he should finish this off. His own third base was rebuilt, so he's going to get that back online. His opponent has built Predators as an answer to the Valkyries, but I think the damage is already done. You can fight on the ground at the end of the day.
I've barely seen this unit, by the way, the Predator. This is like, I think the second or the third time that I've seen it. We've got a bunch of these Valkyries flying around. Maybe Boanaan can go for some harass as well, right? He's kind of left in natural in the main base alone of Conqueror for a little while. So a whole bunch of Scorpions. When all else fails, the Scorpion is still here. But we've got some Blink Hunters, we've got Predators, we've got Mammoths. Maybe just click on that base then. Like you said a while ago, you become
Kill
so
it.
low on HP.
It could have absolutely died, man. There's no way that this should still be here. I refuse to believe that that's meant to happen, but okay. We still have 3 base against 3 base. The workers are coming back online from that Kappa's run by. The workers are coming back online from this entire attack on the third. Boanaan does have 40 supply lead in the game, though, so that's huge. And he's got snipers to pick up some free shots. He's got destroyers to start melting the mammoths again. I mean, there is another Kappa's going to go around the right-hand side. I like that idea. I do think we're going to lose this third base, and we're going to lose potentially the majority of this army on this location as well. As the Valkyries are going to join this fight. They get melted by the Predators, but there's just no need for the Valkyries to even really be here. as we are just going to be able to move through this. That third base will die. We're going to start clearing up some of the harass. There is going to be that cap burst as well. Boanaan should be able to afford a Valkyrie or two back at home to go and deal with it, though, and I think he's got this one locked up.
Yeah, 1 or 2 mortars would have been mega useful, even if Boanaan had a bunch of those snipers, right? Because those snipers, maybe they can overextend, maybe the mammoths could have gone forward or something, an air transition once more to catch it off guard. In the end, it really does seem like we have a proper banger of a series on our hands as Boanaan strikes back in the first game that I've seen where both players, after 5 minutes, have every single tech unlocked. Tier 3 ground, Tier 3 air. They've had it all, both of them, 5 minutes into the game. Very, very sick. Boanaan gets a point on the board. Well done.
Yeah, it's absolutely game of the day, right? Just every single tech tree unlocked. Both players showing what you can do if you just go for that full battle against each other. And that is going to be that for the moment as we get ourselves ready for a little bit more action in just a few. I'm asking Indy if you can swap the players on left and right because Boanaan's units are green, but he's on like the red side of the map, on the mini map. So it's a little confusing. So I'm going to try and get him to swap that around so it's just a little bit easier to see.
How do you rate the Predator? Because I've seen it in action incredibly little, so I don't have a strong opinion about it, but...
Like, it's good at what it does, but it's just so tech heavy to basically do nothing apart from like shut down some air units. I think there's just better anti-air options and definitely better tier 3 ground tech. Like, some decks just are gonna need it, I think, right? Because without it, they just don't have like a good way to kind of hit anti-air later on. I actually think maybe the Valkyries aren't the best example of the Predator, because I actually think the Predator's got splash damage, so I don't think the Valkyries are small enough to really benefit from it, or like are small enough units for the Predator to really benefit. So maybe like against like Dragonflies, it would be even better. But obviously that's just not what we're seeing here, as Boanaan still does not swap out that Falcon. I really think that is the key to just shutting this down more easily, because airships would have made this way easier.
Yep, they stuck with the same units, huh? Exactly the same units.
Yep.
Alright guys, so we did switch the players, so right now to not be mega confused, Boanaan is green in the bottom left. He is down 1-2 against our German player Conqueror in the top right. Absolutely banging, best of 7 so far between these two. Finest work of matchmaking yet, Rotti. This is one that's really living up to all the expectations.
It was really hard to matchmake, man. It's like, I don't really know how good these guys are. The numbers don't necessarily mean that much. I'm glad that some of it's working out, because this has been a great series and just great stylistic kind of matchup, right? So, yeah, awesome stuff.
I feel like they're both players that obviously have good mechanics, but they've spent a lot of time thinking about the games and what works, what doesn't work. And you can really see there are so many deep levels to, I think that I should do this and you'll do that and then I'll do that. And yeah, eventually they both have tier 3 and it's like, now what? Now we have everything. And who does this favor? It's like, I don't know. Yeah.
I think in the end, right, if everything's available, Boanaan has all the answers, right?
Yep.
Like, the Valkyries melt cap burst, the snipers melt the ground. So I think in the end, like, Conqueror doesn't actually want to play that same game of getting to the point where everyone has everything. But at the same time, it's so powerful for Conqueror to get up to his own tier 3 air tech. So I don't know if you can necessarily stop that from happening. Yeah, fascinating matchup of unit decks.
Boanaan won a little Scorpion skirmish in the top left, but here in the center he should be totally fine, especially with defender's advantage. The map may seem tiny, and the moment you like kind of pass that halfway point, you're like, is this that bad? But it really makes such a big difference. Boanaan is taking really good fights here, by the way. Conqueror could be in a tiny bit of trouble. I don't like how this is going at all for Conqueror, the man who's still up 2-1 in this series. He has split off a couple of Scorpions to go for the tiny run by, but he really needs his mortars to show up, because he was not winning that Scorpion fight.
He was not, as you see the Scorpion's going to attack into the naturals. He's going to get a worker or two, but it's still so many from Boanaan. However, there is going to be the mortar set up, the defense made, and again, we're seeing that straight to sniper tech, straight to the mammoths from Conqueror. I feel like what we're doing now as well is we're trying to make as few tech units as possible to hold on. Like, this is one destroyer, one mortar. That's all we've built here as Conqueror, just to try and get going. And he's going to go for a bit of a faster fourth base than I believe we've seen in these games, because we barely didn't see a fourth at all, really, in the last game, right? So that's a bit of a difference.
Boanaan already has a snipers available. He's going to build his first snipers. As Conqueror has gone up to 4 bases, he now has access to tier 2 Starforge, aka just mammoths, because it's the only thing that he can build, because he has double tier 3. He has swapped it up. He can actually make Valkyrie 2 right now.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. What did he have before? I think he's always had double tier 3. He's just never used the Valkyrie. I think he had them last game too.
Are you sure that we didn't have Stingers? No, wait, that was Boanaan, right?
Yeah, I think Conqueror's had the Valkyries. He's just never had reason to build them.
Okay.
Although maybe they would have been a better answer to the Valkyries of his opponent. Although that's kind of a messy one to go into, the mirror match. This game's getting messy too. Lots of workers going down the third base. The fourth base looks as though it'll be surrounded. Conqueror is coming across the map with some mortars and maybe he'll get sieged up, but the snipers are just going to say nuh-uh. So mortars are getting destroyed and maybe Conqueror needs to slow it down a little bit. Boanaan's supply is rocking.
Yeah, it's chaos though. I mean, they're both everywhere. It's Conqueror who's sending a bunch of Scorpions and he's going to go for the base and works at the same time. It's also Boanaan who has split up a lot of Scorpions to get into the natural of Conqueror. He's going to get the vast majority, if not all of the workers here. Maybe all but one. In the end, I want to say this favors Boanaan because he still has more supply and he's going to get on top of these workers as well. So it's his time to deal a tiny bit of extra economic damage. But here come the cat bosses and we don't quite have that tier 3 anti-air unlocked yet for Boanaan.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. He needs to get to the Valkyries. And I wonder if we go a few Valkyries as Conqueror himself this time so he can actually have some protection for the cat boss. Because maybe that could be the answer, right? Keeping your own tier 3 tech unit
so
alive.
rich though. He's so rich.
Oh my god, he's got 1.1k power saved.
I almost think that here, your cat boss, you should click them into the main and just try to kill as many workers. Like, just assume you're going to kill the center with Scorpion Mammoth. And then maybe hope that your cat bosses can kill a bunch of workers in the main. And then you spam Valkyries yourself with a battle economy. Because right now, if they just both sit back, isn't Boanaan just going to completely dominate the sky?
Yeah, I think so. We're actually building Blink Hunters as the choice right now from Conqueror, which is kind of surprising. We are going to see these Scorpions are probably not going to get too far. They're going to get shut down, so that's a lot lost from Boanaan. His Valkyries are on the hunt for the Capus, by the way. He's thinking, where the heck are they? I've seen them run by my base before. Can I stop that?
It's actually very smart though, because now Conqueror is buying a lot of time for himself. He took out the third base. He is now once more enjoying a full 3-base economy. Maybe Blink Hunters against Valkyries is not actually too bad. Obviously the snipers are going to be an issue, but I feel like at this point we're just making a chaotic cat boss in the natural once more. Boanaan, and Boanaan's reaction is a little bit slow. He's lost a lot of workers there, Rotti, and he's already been hurting for cash.
Yeah, the Capo's going to pay for themselves there as the third base is still rebuilding the workers up here as well in the center. So I think Boanaan's starting to run into issues. I love the Capo's just going to dive through for a couple more workers. And Conqueror, he was definitely not in as good a position because there was so much money for Boanaan. But now, I think he's going to be pretty much well set. He's not going Predators at all here. And I do like that. I just don't think he really needs them. I don't think they really deliver. Interesting that he went for the Blink Hunters rather than, like I say, just his own Valkyries. Maybe just didn't feel like he could get numbers otherwise. Gonna take this fight. Still some snipers in the back. They're gonna be kind of scary. The Scorpions are gonna still be tough to get through. He's gonna blink forward the Blink Hunters. They're just gonna go for it. Target down the tech units and the Valkyries and just see what we can do. I don't know if that was quite the play, though. I think that's a great fight for Boanaan. Those Blink Hunters just did not get enough done at all.
And Scorpions are so good, right? It's so dangerous to blink forward and get surrounded by Scorpions immediately. There is still one very healthy cat boss that's going to go for another drive-by to maybe deliver some pain. This is where I think you ideally still need a few mortars here and there. Even if the snipers outrange them, mortars are something you always have to respect. It takes a little while before those snipers can go forward. Now Conqueror losing this center base. He is in trouble. It was an incredibly back-and-forth game. This final cat boss is going to get destroyed, and it seems like Boanaan is going to tie things up here in game 4, as it seems that the Blink Hunters have just not cut it. They had just too many things to worry about, right? They had to worry about the snipers, they had to worry about the destroyers, Scorpions, Valkyries, like everything. It was just too much.
Man, what a fascinating... I love that these two guys just have complete faith in the kind of the decks that they've brought and they're just sticking to it. I wonder if there's ever a point where we do start to see these decks change up a little bit. Because now is the point where you've definitely had 4 games, you've both felt each other out a good amount. Does Conqueror say, man, okay, he's starting to realize how to deal with the Capus? Like, do you go away from the Capus? Do you build something else yourself? What options can you kind of switch into? It's going to be fascinating to see what they do for game number 5, because this one is as good as done. We are going to that game 5 very soon.
I would still love maybe some airships. Just something that you can get value of against ground and air. But yeah, obviously he didn't have to play the Blink Hunters here. He could have just doubled down and said, alright, I think I've done enough economic damage. I think I can spam my own Valkyries and turn it into an all-out Valkyrie war. Maybe it's just the blink forward. Maybe if he plays that fight out in a slightly different way, it could have gone his way. I don't know. But these games are so close. They are very competitive. These two are a perfect match for the other. I think it's very hard to say what either player should be doing.
I think it's just so hard. to get the Blink Hunters to ever really be like because especially when Scorpions are there, like anytime you blink forward, it's almost rarely going to be like unhindered by Scorpions. So it's just so hard to kind of justify, especially Blink Hunters. They're not, cheap or free, right? Like, these things cost power as well, so they're taken away from your other tech units. So that's a factor you've got to consider during this. I think that's my problem with the Blink Hunters. It's just so hard to see how they're going to find enough value versus the other things at that stage of the game.
And I do think even if snipers are out, I don't think that means that we have to give up on mortars forever. Because you don't always have vision of where the mortars are, right? And how often doesn't it happen that an army steps forward, suddenly the circle shows up, mortar gets a big hit off, and mortars, they can buy time. Because sure, the snipers are the perfect answer for them, but you still need to crawl them forward and need to get in range. And if you can then distract your opponent with a run by, cat boss drive by, who knows? It can still be difficult for the snipers to always shine and take care of every single mortar.
Yep.
Man, these games have been sick. We're all tied up, guys, after 4. This is our 4th best of 7. I know a couple of you guys are just joining and wondering about the results. So far, we had Parting get a 4-1 victory. 4-2 victory over Trigger. We had Cuckoo getting a 4-1 victory over J Money Magic. And then we just had Clem getting a 4-0 victory over Lorimbo. And these two guys, Boanaan from the Netherlands, Conqueror from Germany, these two are all tied up. 2 apiece. Boanaan once more the green player in the bottom left side, Conqueror, the man from Germany, in the red in the top right.
Unit decks are the same again.
He's got Falcons. Oh yeah, well, he already had Falcons. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Sorry, mate, I'm an idiot. I'm just looking for stuff.
Yeah, I know, we're looking for the changes. It's just not there. They both just have complete and utter faith in what they've been using so far, and that they can just make their own changes without changing the deck within the game. So, great to see, man. I love it.
It's so fun to see how it's just so much tech coming out of these guys. Well, we had our first best of 7, and we already said in the beginning of the day, guys, the rest of the day is not going to look like this, where they basically stayed at tier 1 forever. We didn't see a single tier 2 unit almost in that entire best of 7. And between these guys, we see full tier 3 from both sides. This Conqueror, by the way, is going up to 2 bases. Boanaan is switching it up a little bit, Rotti. He's gone 3 base before tech.
Yeah, I like that though, right? Finally, just something a little bit different, something a little bit varied here. As you see, our Scorps chasing Scorps.
I was not crazy. Last game we had Mammoths, mate. And the games before we had Mammoths. Now he's got Falcons.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize Conqueror had Falcons. Yes, no. He's gotten rid of the Mammoths. Yes, no. You're not crazy. No.
I definitely am, but not in that way. Okay. I was I swear this wasn't there. This icon was not there. Yeah.
I actually think I like that. I don't think the Mammoths have really done that much for a while now. Like, they've been bulk in the army, but I don't think they've been, like, a great part of the army.
I've been mega surprised with how long they survive against snipers, though. That's crazy. Boanaan is gone air, by the way. 3 base air, so he's got Stinger and Falcon.
Yep. It's going to be actually very cool, because that's very different from him. He's been going the ground army a lot. Stingers can be, well, first of all, the Falcons can be very good, and that's why Conqueror immediately just goes Predators, I think. He's just like, I need better anti-air. And this is kind of what my deck does against Stingers and Falcons as well, where it's like, you kind of just need to go into something, like, you just need something better, because the Falcons are so sturdy and powerful. So we're going to try and see if that will be it.
So you think Predators are going to shine against Falcons? Because I have barely seen that interaction.
I actually have no idea, but, like, in theory, that's why they're in my deck. I just never had to build them yet. But logically, yes, I think.
I mean, Falcons are slow, so that should give you some time, right? I mean, that tier 3 ground tech is 3/4 of the way done. That's pretty sick.
Well, we have actually mostly just Stingers being made, and they can do great if the mortars have to siege up too far away. Like, the mortars are all to the top, right? So this fight's going to be amazing. The Stingers are just going to absolutely shred through the Scorpions, and then the base. So the mortars need to make a move right now, but yeah, that's problematic, right? They're just going to see this base potentially going down. I mean, we're still targeting Scorpions, but I think we can just right-click the base, kill the 3rd, get out of there. We don't really lose that much. Great play from Boanaan, as he is going to take a big lead from this, and now he does have one Falcon just going to wander forward, and he's just going to go pick away through a mortar or 2 until his anti-air there.
This thing is just so quick. They can even take a little look into the natural. Is he going to go for those 3 mortars? Yeah, yes, he is. Boanaan, the man who was down 0-2. It's really turning this one around. He's going to get each and every single mortar. Even finds a Predator there. I mean, Boanaan is steamrolling Conqueror here in game 5.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't think Conqueror is ready to play against this at all. Boanaan from 0-2 down to 3-2. Man, and he's looking like that was the most convincing game of the series.
Yep, razor sharp timing there in the center. But maybe if those mortars are a tiny bit further forward, then Conqueror would take a much better fight. Maybe it would be difficult for Boanaan to take out the base, but very well done. Realized immediately what he had to do. Stingers, man, I feel like more often than not, they look amazing. I really haven't seen too many games where Stingers look terrible.
Stingers are great, man. I'm surprised these things haven't been nerfed like 5 times over. Like, they've always been good. Like, even when we first played, back in March, you know, like, that's what parting just, like, killed everybody with. It's like, these things have just remained amazing. And it's still yet to really figure out what's really good against a Stinger, apart from, like, probably just, like, very slow, sit back and don't do anything playing, just play super defense, but then then they just expand like crazy tier 3 tech, so it's tough.
Then you have to worry about different air units as well, and you give up all map control. I mean, Stingers definitely struggle a lot with sturdy units like Crusaders. Crusaders are incredibly tanky. Stingers have the micro potential over them, but yeah, you're gonna be even in battle aces, you're gonna be floating 4K if you're trying to out micro Crusaders with Stingers. It takes forever. Boanaan, sick comeback, taking a 3-2 lead here. 1 map away from winning $150. The loser of this series will still get $50. Absolutely my favorite series of the day so far. Let's see what Game 6 will bring to the action, as Conqueror is not really swapped it up, right? He has stuck to the same build as he had in the previous game. He's the only guy that I really see love that Predator. I haven't really seen Predator being used that often.
I just don't see it coming out a lot. I don't know, like it's so weird because I feel like it comes out, it's slow. I feel like it's meant to be for like mass dragonflies or like mass locusts or like, you know, those smaller air units. So
this best of 7 deserves a Game 7 though, Rotti. That's all I know.
I want to see Game 7, man. These games have been great. Fast expansion from Boanaan again, gonna get that 3rd set up.
Conqueror once more goes for 2 base stack. We've got destroyers on the way, we've got mortars on the way. He will probably look at that previous game like we saw Trigger and Parting look at some of their games in the beginning of the day, where if my mortars are just a little bit further forward, then that fight goes a lot better, because Stingers do get absolutely obliterated if they step in the range of the circles. It's just that the circles weren't really covering what they were supposed to be covering.
Yep.
Tiny run by the way.
Yeah, outside of 3 Scorpions want to get forwards. Obviously, we're going to see the... Actually, Boanaan always have mortars? He didn't have mortars, right?
No.
So he's got mortars now as well.
Boanaan was using King Crabs. He had King Crabbies. King
so
Crab
nice
Destroyer.
Mortars.
Yeah, these games have been awesome. Seems that people have been loving it as well. Makes me very happy. Overall, decent starter, I'd say, for our man from Germany, Conqueror, who is down 3-2 in this best of 7, grabbing 4 workers, while actually keeping some of the Scorpions alive. They're still alive, by the way. He's out multitasking Boanaan here a little bit. Boanaan taking slightly better fights in the center, but with that run by, Conqueror is absolutely getting the best of him, and he might get a few more workers here.
Yeah, looks as though he might be able to get a little bit extra, which is great. Every worker is just going to be a real hit to that economy. As our Scorps is going to come through, and we do see mortars now out from Conqueror, going to try and start pushing forwards aggressively. Look at that, the 3 others, they just don't stop the siege. They just want to move. They want to get very far forward, but this is scary. But we are going to get siege now. Now those Scorpions of Boanaan taking a lot of damage.
But Boanaan is too late, though. I feel like he's too late with his own mortars, right? He's really trying to buy some time for his own mortars to protect the 3rd base. Siege. He needs to take out this forward mortar. If he doesn't get this one, he might just lose the game. I think this looks great for Conqueror, as he's got 1 more healthy mortar coming in from the right. Rotti, I think we're going to Game 7.
My God.
I think we are going to Game 7.
Utter destruction there. The mortars, like, they all try to get siege on top of each other and they just get melted, and we are indeed going to get Game 7 between these guys. We are going the distance.
I loved how decisive he played there. He's like, all right, I've gone 2 base stack, you've gone 3 base, I'm going to get my mortars out quicker, and you already said it. Even when Conqueror was still on his side of the map, look at them mortars go. They weren't sieging. No, one of them sieged, and the other one walked all the way to the edge of the circle to siege and move forward. And then there was kind of a race towards the 3rd base of Boanaan. And in the end, it was Conqueror who was able to siege up first with just 1 or 2, and Boanaan had a whole bunch of them, but they were all so clumped up. And there were so many scorpions in the mix as well. Well done. Oh man, what a great series between these two. Awesome battle.
All right, well, we are gonna go into game number 7. Wow, I'm super happy, man. Game 7, distance being made between these guys. We obviously have some great matches still to come as well. So very exciting.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, loving it. I feel like if there is one series where I kind of feel like they both deserve to win, it is this one. These two, a perfect match for one another. Who's gonna get the dub? We saw Clem win his series, we saw Podding win his series, we saw Cuckoo win his series. Fourth series. After this game, we are exactly at the halfway point, but we've got 4 more amazing best of 7s coming your way. Players like Stefano, Papi, Demu. It's gonna be fun. Of course, later tonight, some American players as well in Vibe and Theory. Looking forward to those games too. But first, who is gonna win our 4th best of 7 and walk away with 150 buckies? And perhaps more importantly, Rotti. Well, nothing is more important than game 7, but are you excited for tomorrow as well?
Yeah, tomorrow. We talked about it with anyone yet?
A tiny bit. We've given out a couple teasers, but everyone that is watching right now, you guys have a chance to also play in one of these best of 7s tomorrow. Just make sure you're a part of the official Battle Aces Discord. Same rules, by the way. If you get selected to play, at the bare minimum, you get 50 bucks for playing. If you win the best of 7, you get 150 buckies. We have 8 people lined up, and they will play against 8 members of the Battle Aces Discord. But we'll release some more info later. Alright, final round, Rotti. Here we go.
Alright, let's hop on into it as we are going to be into this next and final game. Decks are the same once again, and we will see what happens as Boanaan and Conqueror get to game 7.
Conqueror stopped by the Discord in between game 6 and game 7, and he said, "You think you can beat the Mortar King?" So I think he's willing to play it in the exact same way again if he has to.
I mean, he was very decisive, man. He was very happy to just kind of move straight through towards that. As you see the few Scorpions, Boanaan, not afraid to just bring Scorpions straight across the map.
Yeah, Boanaan definitely needs to pay a tiny bit more attention to his natural, right? Because I do feel throughout this entire best of 7, it really has been Conqueror who has found more success with the tiny Scorpion drive-bys, run-bys, call them whatever you want. As he just always seems to get a couple of workers, and it does really add up.
Scorp's gonna fight a little bit, as we do have an attack immediately from both sides. They're both going to base attack.
Boanaan perhaps learned his lesson. He says, alright, I don't want to find myself in that position again. It's so hard to bridge that gap between your opponent having those mortars out and them running to the other side of the map, and you trying to stall some time, right? Buy time for yourself one way or the other. Well, yeah, if your opponent is decisive, those are just the most difficult 20-30 seconds to overcome.
Well, does you need to find a way to get around them and slow him down? But if your opponent just says, "I will not be slowed," and he really was not being slowed, Conqueror's just like, "I will walk headfirst into your Scorpions to push these mortars across the map." So
look at the minimap.
Yeah, Scorpions everywhere.
Yep, a run by gets deflected over here by Conqueror. Meanwhile, Boanaan's natural again, Rotti. We just called it. His natural is very often exposed. Does seem like we have a slightly superior concave here for Boanaan. So Boanaan doing all right in the center of the map, but losing workers. He's losing so many workers. Oh.
His Scorpions weren't fighting on the natural, so he's lost half the workers on that base already, and he didn't do anything near that on the base of his opponent. So he's going to be on that disadvantage, and we're going to see instant secondary attacks here. Boanaan goes snipers, and Conqueror goes to the Falcons. I honestly think if we get a bunch of Falcons out, what's the answer to those? Nothing for a long time. Before it was at least you had to get to the cap burst before it was scary in the air for Conqueror, but now with the Falcons, I wonder if that's something Boanaan actually can answer with just the missile bots.
If he has a full 3-base economy, I would say maybe, right? Let's say snipers come out, they push through those mortars immediately, you take out the 3rd base and you spam nothing but missile bots. I would believe. 3-base missile bot against 2-base Falcon, I kind of believe. But now our 3-base economy has already been hurting. 8 workers is so freaking many for just 3 Scorpions.
Yeah, it is. Let's just have another big Scorpion setup. There's nothing on the natural right now. No vision to the top, so Boanaan cannot see in that direction. The mortars set up in the center. The Scorpions are set as well. We're going to start firing up some shots, and some Scorps take some damage.
Here come our Falcons. The triangle of death.
They really are. Like, oh, I'm gonna make a nice little double line instead.
Boanaan in so much trouble, by the way, Waddy. Once more. I mean, he has no answer for the Falcons in the center of the map, and he's once more going to lose at least 8 workers in his natural. This time it's even a little bit more. Conqueror, the man who took the 2-0 lead, fell to a 3-2 deficit, is actually turning this really his way in Game 7. I don't really see this ending well for Boanaan at all, man. Boanaan just got outplayed here by Conqueror. There's no other way to put it. Mistlebot's actually putting up a really good fight there against the Falcons, but he has taken so much economic damage already.
Those Mistlebots are doing way better than I thought they were about to. They're going to get back to it right now. Just going to see the Falcons still dropping. A couple of snipers are out to try and help on the ground, but we already lost the third base, so I think it's fair to say that the Falcons have probably done everything they needed to. Now we've got a mortar coming across the map. Well, we do have snipers. They can target that mortar down, and maybe Conqueror should have been turned around already. He's going to end up losing absolutely everything. A few more Scorpions showing up. I don't think they're going to get much further themselves. The snipers are still going.
Stop!
Boanaan, yeah, Boanaan's got enough. Like, turn around, Conqueror. Stop. Go home. Defend your third base.
Yeah, but he did so much eco damage, right? If Boanaan would not have lost those workers a second time over, and he would have had all these guys right now, then maybe you could believe in the weirdest 2-base push of Mistlebot Sniper. As silly as that may sound, it absolutely had some potential. Now I'm afraid economically Boanaan just in a tiny bit too much trouble as Conqueror sets up another Scorpion run by, and once more Waddy, that natural is Omega exposed.
There was just nothing there, and Boanaan's just been his Achilles heel all game long. And he's going to lose multiple more workers there again. He's obviously having to rebuild the third base. The difference in income is just absolutely huge, and we've just built more Falcons saying, I don't believe you can make enough missile bots to actually make that matter. And these Scorpions looking for a surround. Any damage these Scorpions do to missile bots is just one step closer to these Falcons absolutely destroying as the Falcons move forwards, and yeah, they're just going to shoot at anything they get in range of. It's just going to melt.
Earlier the missile bots did great, but this time around I'm afraid there's just a few too many Falcons. The third base is not even up and running yet before it gets taken out once more. It is Conqueror who wins without a doubt. The best of 7 we've seen today so far, Waddy. It went to distance, it came down to the wire, but in the end it is Conqueror who gets the dub. The most perfect scoreline, I think, of any best of 7. A 2-0 lead into a 3-2 deficit into a 4-3 win for our German player. GG. Conqueror gets the $150 as Boanaan will get $50 for playing this awesome series. Man, what a cool series between these two.